Welcome to Therapeutic Intentions Podcast. My name is Stephanie Dingbaum. I am a mental health therapist, and I am so passionate about all things health and wellness, personal development, and empowering others to be their most authentic and best versions of themselves. Here at Therapeutic Intentions, we are all about having intentional and authentic conversations on whole body health, healing practices, mindset, and ways to uplevel your life so you can truly be the best version of you. If you are a woman, a mom, hope to someday be a mom, a healer, or just in a place where you want to start prioritizing yourself and your health, then this podcast is for you. I am so glad you're here. If you're ready, let's get to it. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Therapeutic Intentions Podcast. This is the fifth and last episode of our mini-series with Hilary and I. We've got Hilary and I here, and today's episode is going to be like popcorn style Q&A. So we don't really have an overall topic or theme in mind. I have a few random questions I wanted to ask her because let's be honest, I feel like I can never get enough time with people like Hilary. I'm always leaving I should have asked this. And so this is just going to be one of those randos where we're just going to hit on a variety of topics. And if there's something, Hilary, if you end up going down a rabbit hole, I'm here for it. Whatever you end up sharing is what is divinely meant to be shared with my listeners today. So I want to first dive into oracle cards, if that's all right with you.
Sure.
I say recent, but it was back in July. My husband and I did a day trip to Galena, Illinois, and went into one of the, I don't know what you want to call it. It's a spiritual store.
Metaphysical.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The gal that owns it, her and her husband run it. She's a medium. My husband saw the sign across the street. We were eating outside and he saw the sign. He was like, "Oh, that's right up your alley." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, it is." And then he looked it up online and it said that she does tarot card readings. And I've never done that. Never even really thought I'd be open to it. And he was like, "Let's do one today." And I was like, "Who are you?" Mitch is asking to go to a tarot card reading? What? It's not like him. So anyways, we did it totally on a whim. At lunch, he was like, "Well, no, she's legit if she brings up grandma's name." And I was like, "Okay, well, don't test the universe. I don't like that." But anyway, she did end up bringing up his grandma within the first 5 minutes. And so he looked at me and was like, "She's legit." Yeah, wasn't doubting that. But anyways, we were in the shop and I was immediately drawn to, in the corner, there was a stand and it had a variety of oracle card decks. And of course, I was drawn to the water themed ones, which, okay, waves, healing therapy. I love the beach. I'm a summer, all the things. I'm here for water. And the box looked like
Is it Rebecca Campbell?
Yeah, Rebecca Campbell.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So I was totally drawn to it. And I was like, I have to buy this for my business. Because there's a few clients that I could see using these with. But I'm not super familiar with using oracle cards. It's still a new concept for me. I did a lot of research after buying them. I did, what do you call it? A cleansing of the deck.
Mm-hmm.
I did that. But I'm not super familiar. Some people do oracle cards daily, and I'm like, oh, I'm not there yet. But what's your recommendation with using them?
Sure. Well, there's definitely a difference between oracle and tarot cards for sure. Just to start off with that. For, most people, oracle cards are easier to, and we're drawn to them more for a couple of reasons. One, because of variety. Not that tarot can't have different artwork, but the artwork always speaks to you. I do feel like decks speak to you. So the fact that you were drawn to this section, the deck was calling you to use it. But oracle cards kind of give that little guidebook, the guidance, where tarot, a lot of times you have to know, okay, the Hermit means this and the Death card means this. And you have to learn it from a different perspective, where oracle cards will be giving you a reading with the card that you're drawing. I always kind of think of it as coming back again to trusting that inner knowing and that intuition. So we can oftentimes use things like crystals and oracle cards and all the things as like these crutches or these safety points, and they can kind of be done, I think, sometimes in reverse of we become too reliant on them or too dependent on them, and now we're seeking it outside of self. So I'm very much cautious of like really coming into connection with self and spirit and knowing, you know what, yep, today I am meant to draw from this, or I'm meant to work with this crystal today, versus waking up and being like, I have to draw from this card deck today because I need to know the answers that I'm supposed to know today. You could feel the energetic difference in the two of those right there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
So definitely, obviously, anytime you buy anything, even if you're buying a hat off Amazon, you should energetically clear it, because everything has an energetic vibration and it is picking up that in transit one way or the other. The people that were manufacturing it, the person that was delivering it to you, etc. But yes, absolutely clear your oracle decks, especially when they sit in metaphysical source. Sometimes people are coming in with heavy energy, or if they're doing readings or things like that, there, that's kind of going out, and not that, the people shop owners, cleanse and that stuff, but people touch it, etc. So definitely clear the deck. But the other big thing, I think, my other big takeaway with that is your intention when you are using the deck is really important. So again, if I am shuffling the deck and I've got some problem in my life and I'm like, okay, tell me like XYZ, and I'm coming to this from a place of worry or fear or shame or guilt or negative emotions, the cards are going to reflect that energy versus I'm asked, I have this issue going on in my life, and please let me know, how can I work with this in my highest and best good? How can I, what is my highest and best good? Please help give me guidance on next steps, future steps. So the energy and the questions that we're asking as we're shuffling or trying to pick a card do matter and weave into the deck and the results that you get.
I love that. Okay. Yeah. And I like that you said, like, don't over rely on it, because I completely agree. I think we sometimes need the reminder that our inner knowing, our inner wisdom, our intuition knows best. It is never going to steer us wrong. And so when we over rely on these tools and resources, I feel like it takes us further away from that intuition. And I just don't think that's a good thing. So I'm grateful for all these tools that we have, crystals, oracle cards, whatever it might be. But there is a point where you're over relying on these tactile objects when we have that knowing within us.
Yeah, all the answers ultimately are within. Yeah. They're guides and tools to help you with that clarity and bringing it into self. But right, when we give our power too much away to that, then we're too reliant on it. So you'll know when you're called to draw from it. And it could be that you draw from it multiple times a week. I myself, I think when I first started, I, drew from, decks quite a bit, and I have quite a few of them. And now I really only honestly draw from a couple for self every now and then. And otherwise, I probably use them more as reference points for clients. So there is an oracle deck called the Spirit Animal Oracle, and I love it as a reference point because I work a lot with spirit animals. And so I know what a lot of them mean and what their message is. There's still some of those ones I encounter. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to check my deck when I'm done. I'm going to send you a picture of that. And what is that message and how does it resonate for you? So I love to use it with that, but I also love to, I had a friend that had a birthday the other day and I got the download. It was like, oh, you're supposed to, ask the Akashic Tarot deck how, what does she need to work with in her karma right now to release some money wounds she has, so I just kind of intuitively work with them myself. But
I love that. And okay, I love that you brought up spirit animals because I didn't have that written down, but that's been a hot topic for me lately. So I was listening, I don't even remember whose podcast it was now, but I was listening to a podcast earlier last week. So we're recording this at the end of August. And she was talking about in this episode about how our spirit guides and guardian angels and our gods, like they will send us signs through things like numbers, animals, like things out in nature to help to like open our eyes or to help direct us in which way we should go in life and to send us messages. And so bottom line was like, read into those things. Like when something startles you, like look it up. What is the spiritual meaning of that? Or when there's road work that, instead of getting upset because it's making you late, like maybe you think like your guides are trying to protect you from something bad. Like read into those things. It's not, nothing is happenstance on this planet. We're spiritual beings living in a physical world. All of that is to say that the next day after listening to that episode, it was like one of the really humid days that we had where like the heat index was like 105 or whatever. So we couldn't walk our dog because the concrete would have been too hot for her paws. So we waited until like 9:30 that night. So we're out in the garage. We're getting ready to take her for a walk. And I wasn't even paying attention. I was just trying to get like the poop bag, the leash, everything ready. And I'm going towards the door, and by our garage door, we have her water bowl. And this giant toad jumps out of her water bowl, completely startles the shit out of me. And I like jumped back and I was like, oh my gosh, like what the hell? Like this, where did the toad come from? And anyways, as we started walking we live down a dead end. So as we started walking down the road, another toad, not as big, but another toad jumps in front of our dog and like startled her. And so then I was like, okay, this is not a coincidence. Like, What is the spiritual meaning of a toad? I have to look this up. And then I'm not even kidding you. We turn the corner and go down our road, and this like little baby frog jumps, and I'm like, okay, like there's a message here. So it's just so interesting to me, like these animals that startle us, like there's meaning to it. And then when I looked it up, it resonated so strongly with me. Mm-hmm. And then I had another moment. I took the dog for a walk out at a cemetery here in Earlville, and there's timber behind it. So we let her run out there. And as we were driving on the golf cart into the cemetery, I let her, like she loves to bolt and just run through the cemetery. So I let her run. She must have startled this owl, because this owl comes like, not even kidding you, like droops in front of my golf cart into the next tree. But I thought like I was going to hit it. I was nervous and it scared me. And again, I'm like, okay, what's the spiritual meaning? What is the message I need to get from this? So fascinating to me. Like this stuff fascinates the crap out of me. I don't know if you have any insight on that.
Oh, well, I love spirit animals. They're a big thing that I work with daily, sometimes maybe hourly. I don't know. But like you said, universe is always giving us signs. We just have to be able to open our eyes, our ears, our everything to see, hear, smell, receive them. Yeah. Numbers are a big one, like you mentioned too, but animals, absolutely. And it's in those moments, right? So you can, we live in Iowa. For some people, like seeing a deer is like no big deal. Well, for me, it is a big deal because they mean something to me. Eagles mean something to me. Mm-hmm. And so as you kind of start to work with the animals a little bit more and develop a relationship with them, they maybe take on a more personal meaning. But then there's the other things where, all of a sudden, you're sitting on your front porch and a hummingbird flies by. Well, unless you have a hummingbird feeder, that's not necessarily a everyday thing that you're going to see. So at that time, or those moments where you see the toad or, the owl and that, I always like to say a couple things. Yes, absolutely. Like look it up. What is the spiritual meaning of that? What does that mean? And how does it resonate with you? But also don't necessarily jump to that immediately, because sometimes in our life, again, we want to like Google everything and we want to know, like our human selves doesn't have the patience. So we want to know the answer right away. Instead, I would say sit back a little bit and what were you doing at that time? What were you thinking about at that time? And what could that mean for you too? So there might be a more personal message in that realm when you take the moment to go inward and ask those questions of that and the animal. And then you can do the Google and go a little bit further down the rabbit hole and see what resonates.
Oh, I like that. Because my go-to is to immediately Google. So I'm
Mhm.
glad you said that. Because, yeah, we do over rely on our phones for those answers, and AI is everywhere, So
Right. And you're
that's
going to
good.
Google it and you're going to see six different, sometimes,
Yeah.
interpretations of
Yeah.
something, right?
Yep.
So again, take the one that resonates the most with
Hmm.
you too, if you do go and do that, because just like everything, there's positives and negatives and
Right.
good
Right.
and bad information out there.
Yeah.
As a
I
librarian by
agree.
day. So anyway.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you. And typically, the animal thing is new to me though, because typically I just feel like I get numbers constantly. I mean, I see numbers throughout my day, every single day that resonate with me. And I know by heart now, like what each
Mhm.
number means. And it's like, oh, every time it's just so reassuring. Like, I don't think I'll ever get sick of seeing the numbers. It's just such a beautiful message to me.
Yeah,
And
so I am a dreamer, definitely. Dreams are very lucid, vivid for me, and that's probably the Pisces, but I'm a big proponent in journaling your dreams too. If you're somebody that dreams a lot, or even if you don't, it's a great way to develop a relationship with the dream world, to then have that come more into the forefront of your awake memory, because they're such our dreams are messages. It's our higher
yeah,
self out traversing and bringing down the information that we need. And so in dreams, there's again going to be those times that there's certain animals or numbers or situations. And when you can journal that out and then reflect back on that, you're like, okay, well, what do you think? What do I think this means? Or, you know what,
hmm
now I'm going to go Google the meaning of, the number 174, and
hmm
that means XYZ. Okay. Okay, Spirit, now I know what you're telling me.
That's a good point. Yeah. I feel like my dreams I have become a very vivid dreamer, and I could probably fill up a notebook with, like, if I wrote down my dreams after every single day, I feel like I could easily fill up a notebook. That's a great piece of advice right there. I have to share after my last session with Hilary, she had told me after my session when we were like debriefing it that the Kundalini was ready to be awakened. And that night, I had, gosh, I don't even know how many, like 6 or 7 dreams, one after another, after another. Like, it's like I would wake up and then I'd go back to sleep and I'd start another one. And I'd wake up and I'd go back to sleep and start another one. And all of them had snakes and cobras in them. And I was like, oh, I'm deathly afraid of snakes, first of all. But they
Oh.
weren't like nightmares to me.
Mhm.
It was just, oh, it was so crazy. Every single one. And some had multiple. And I just remember waking up thinking, God damn, Hillary, you like this, you were right. Like, I don't know. It's just so mind blowing to me. So I love the idea of journaling your dreams. That
Yeah,
is,
especially, I mean, or even just voice memo it,
yeah.
too. But
Mm-hmm.
the premise is just to wake up, still sort of be in the position of sleep, grab either a voice memo or, journal it down before you go into the scrolling on the phone or the
Mm-hmm.
doing this or that takes you out of that brain state that,
Yeah.
then all of a sudden now we're in our awake state, and now all of a sudden I am like, I can't remember. And it happens really fast. But just so anybody that's wondering, I did just quickly Google what 174 was, because that was the number that came through
Yeah.
for me. And it says, this is a message that you are manifesting wonderful abundance into your life through your positivity and spirituality.
I
so,
love that. Oh my gosh. Okay. I love that. Well,
so
you
there we
opened the
go.
door to talking about manifestation. So let's go there next.
Yes.
Did you know that roughly 75% of the population in the United States is not meeting the recommended daily intake of magnesium that our bodies need? Mind blowing, right? I felt that way too. I had no idea just how important magnesium was for our bodies and our mental health until I delved into the world of integrative health as a result of my fertility journey. 2 years into our fertility journey, I connected with an integrative health practitioner who completely opened my eyes, you guys. Through a bunch of at-home lab work, I actually found out I was deficient in magnesium, which not a big surprise now looking back. On top of taking an organic magnesium supplement, my practitioner actually had highly recommended I use topical magnesium. She specifically recommended Good Night Lotion from Earthly Wellness. I had used a few of Earthly's products before this, and I loved the company and what it stood for. So honestly, I had no doubt in my mind that this product would be a good addition to my daily routine. At this point in the fertility journey, honestly, I was just willing to try anything to help. When the lotion arrived, I made it a part of my nightly routine to put it on my arms, my stomach, and legs every single night before going to bed. The first night I used it, you guys, I noticed a huge difference in how I slept that night. It was amazing. I fell asleep faster than normal. I stayed asleep longer. In general, there was less interrupted sleep patterns from night to night. It was truly incredible, the difference that this lotion made on me. Don't just take my word for it. Listen to these testimonies of other individuals who have seen success from using Earthly's Goodnight Lotion. One testimony says, I use Earthly's Goodnight Lotion almost every night and I absolutely love it. Another says, I have always used magnesium to help me fall asleep. So when I first used the Goodnight Lotion, I fell in love. It smells so good, feels soft and light on your skin, and keeps me asleep all night. The secret to getting a good night's sleep is truly to intake more magnesium, you guys. Magnesium actually does way more than just promote healthy sleep though. It also is a natural detox for your body. It helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels and supports your gut health too. And then another benefit from using it topically is that the nourishing oils and butters that are in it moisturize your skin while the body is absorbing the magnesium quickly. Amazing. In addition to these primary benefits, there's also so many other benefits that you receive just from getting a good night's sleep, like better overall functioning during the day, more restful sleep throughout the night, so then you perform better at work the next day, overall improved mental health, more physical stamina. I mean, I could go on and on, you guys. So be honest with yourself. Could you stand to improve your sleep habits? We all could. I would never recommend something that I myself haven't used and trusted long term. I've been using this lotion for 4 years now. The benefits continue to help me. In the 6 years of our fertility journey, I have worked with multiple integrative health practitioners who all recommend Earthly Wellness products to me, and they all swear by them too. The Good Night Lotion is just one of many quality, clean, non-toxic products that Earthly has to offer. And honestly, that's another amazing benefit of ordering through Earthly, is that all of their products are completely clean, non-toxic, which means they have absolutely no parabens, no phthalates, no fragrances, no preservatives, no allergens of any kind like corn, soy, gluten, dairy, or nuts, no junk at all in their products. And if you're like me and you're trying to rid your home of toxic products, then Earthly truly is your go-to place to shop. As a mental health therapist in a small rural county in eastern Iowa, I recommend this product constantly to clients who disclose that they struggle to get good sleep or if they suffer from insomnia. I always suggest trying something holistic before using any kind of medication or something that the body can become addicted to. That way you don't have to worry about experiencing any side effects as a result. Another great thing about this product, you guys, and why I suggest it to clients left and right, is that it can be used on adults and kids alike. That's an added bonus for sure. If any of what I shared resonates with you and you want to purchase this product or any other Earthly Wellness products, check them out through my affiliate marketing link, which I'll link in the show notes of today's episode. Also, for a limited time, if you're a first-time user of Earthly products, you can get a discount using code CHOOSENATURAL. That'll give you a 10% discount off your first order. Again, if you didn't hear it the first time, use code CHOOSENATURAL, that's in all caps, and you'll get that 10% discount on your order. If you're a returning customer of Earthly's and would also like a discount, for a limited time only, I'm offering the code COMEBACK to get 10% off your order as well. Again, the code is in all caps, COMEBACK, COMEBACK. Improve your sleep today, feel better mentally, physically, emotionally. Seriously consider making earthly wellness a part of your health journey today, you guys. You will not regret it. All links will be in my show notes for today's episode if you're interested.
I'm all about manifestation. I feel I manifested my business, first of all. I manifested starting at Altruity Healthcare before I went out on my own. I mean, like, the power of manifestation in my life has been jaw-dropping. I now feel so strongly as a practitioner that we underestimate the power of our minds and the power of our thoughts. And it's like, yeah, we all have the ability to manifest our desires. And then not just that, but like understanding the power behind your thoughts and understanding the power behind your consistent everyday thoughts. And if you're consistently letting yourself think these negative, low frequency thoughts, that's going to be your reality. That's what you're going to manifest into your life. And if you let yourself day in and day out think positive, high vibrational thoughts, then that's going to be your reality. You're going to have a more positive, uplifting, energetic reality. And I just think in general, society, I think we're getting better, but I feel like people underestimate the power of their thoughts.
I absolutely agree. I think that it is okay to feel the emotions, right? The full range of emotions. So those moments when you are sad, angry, etc., we should feel those, but we can't wallow in them.
Yeah,
and so when we talk about manifestation, it is speaking, like we talked about in prior episodes, you act as if, or you're a product of what you believe. And so I have, these little like Post-its that I put on my computer that are my sort of manifesting goals, if you will. And I can tell you at least 6 of them have happened this year.
Yes.
And they don't have to be huge, huge things.
No.
At all. It's not to be like, that's the other thing I want to kind of say in manifestation is it's not that you can't have those like big vision goals of like, I want to, have $1 million or whatever.
Right.
But, even start with some of those smaller goals where that might be, for me, one of mine was I wanted to submit, 5 pieces of poetry by March. And, okay, March came and I still hadn't, submitted them. And I was like, all right, like if you want to tell the universe, you want to be a writer, you want your poetry out there, whatever, you got to do it. Like you got to do the work.
Yep.
So some of that too with manifestation does come along with the fact of you still have to put the work into it.
Yeah. Yeah. When you were saying like those little manifestations, those like every day, I call those micro manifestations. And that's not my term. Like I've heard that from others, but, I think those are sometimes even more powerful than like, I manifested my business. That's a huge one in my world, but I love these like micro manifestations that I've been able to have happen in my life. Like when we recently flew to Scottsdale, so my business paid for the trip and I just got the cheapest seats on the flight, like the middle $1 seats. And we didn't sit together. My husband went with me. We didn't sit together. I didn't tell him that ahead of time. So we're like driving to the airport and he's like, where are we sitting? And I was like, we're not sitting together. I got separate middle seats. And he was like, the business is paying and you didn't even get like good seats. And I was like, listen, I'm going to manifest. We're going to end up sitting together. And he was like, okay, whatever. He was just annoyed that I went like cheapo, like, sorry. So anyways, I'm like, I'm just going to let me be silent for a little bit. Like I'm going to manifest this. So I like went within and I like visualized us sitting together on the plane and visualized the flight attendant saying, like giving me permission to then sit with my husband and all the things. And so we get on the plane and it's me and then him behind me. And, the flight attendant was like, it's a rather full flight, like, so just bear with us. And I'm like, nope, it doesn't matter. It's still going to happen. So my row is completely full and it's still just Mitch behind me. Nobody has joined him yet. And we're in the far back of the plane. So we've been there for the longest. And they're shutting the doors and Mitch pokes me and he's like, hey, why don't you just ask if you can come sit back here? And I was like, I freaking knew it. I manifested that. And so the flight attendant, he asked her and she was like, yeah, you can move back if you want. We're about to take off. And I was like, I totally manifested this. And then just little micro manifestations like that to me are so powerful. I feel like I did that for my birthday this year too. I told my husband a few months back, what I want for my birthday is an experience. And I don't want it to be we're the house where everybody comes to party and have gatherings. And I was like, I don't want people coming over is fine, but that means then there's going to be drinking. And that's just not what I want my birthday to be about this year. And I said, what I really want my birthday to be about is healing. So hopefully we can find an experience where we can experience healing together. And then, I went to this networking event that our friend Liz hosted a month after having that conversation. And there was a gal who was doing sound healing. She had an event flyer on her table and it was the week of my birthday. And I was like, this is what Mitch and I are doing. We just went last night. So I feel I manifested that. You can't just sit back and expect the universe, God, source to do all the work for you. You have to act as if, and you have to put baby steps to make these things happen. But micro manifestations are just as powerful as big manifestations, in my opinion. I agree, Hilary.
Absolutely. And it's also the speaking it as if too, when you're doing the manifestation, you're writing and it's not, I want to submit 5 works of poetry. I was like, I have submitted 5 works of poetry as of March 2022. Get specific. That's a lot with the universe too. So when people are like, oh, please God, just show me a sign. Well, our angels are guides and that they don't know time because time doesn't exist for them. So you have to get really specific with that. So if you're really wanting an answer because you're in this really deep, maybe you're in a darker place, or maybe you're just in this really sad funk place and you just really want, or I don't know what direction it should go. You need to be specific with spirit, with your guides. And you need to say, again, you might not pick a common animal that you're going to see every day where you live, but maybe you don't want to pick something super exotic that you're never going to see, right? We're not going to see a parrot flying around here in Iowa, but you might say, or show me numbers, show me this. So you say show me a red Jeep by noon on Friday, August 30th. You got to get specific.
And I do think there's power behind speaking it into existence, doing those affirmations, having them be future focused. But when I switch from affirmations to gratitude, I feel I took my game up a notch. I do gratitude statements daily, but they're all future based. I'm grateful to be a 6-figure business owner. I'm grateful, it's not what's currently in my life, but I'm grateful for those things that I will eventually be living. And I think that's powerful.
Gratitude's huge.
It's a high frequency thought, but and I look forward because now my gratitude list, I have probably about 20 gratitude statements for these different areas in my life. I do them for fertility, for my health, for my marriage, for finances, the business. And they've gotten so long that I just recorded them. And now I listen to the recording every day on my way into work. But I love that. I look forward to that every day. And
you're a Virgo, so you love your list and you're practical.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, I do. I'm a list maker through and through. Yeah.
I love it.
Some people it's another thing I have to do, but no, I'm doing it while I'm driving into work. It doesn't take, it's not an extra step in your routine. You can have it stack and do it on top of something else you already do, listen to it while you're brushing your teeth or while you're in the shower. That's such an easy practice and it's got so many positive benefits to it. Besides just the fact that it can aid in manifestation, it boosts your mood. There's so many positive benefits to doing affirmations and gratitude. I feel there's there should be no reason to not make time for that, in my opinion. All right. Any last minute shares? Anything before we wrap things up that you want to share?
I mean, I love the hot seat, the firing. That was fun to do. And I really enjoyed recording all these with you. Look forward to maybe some more in the future. And again, if anybody ever has questions on anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. I know we wanted to keep these a little bit shorter. I'm sure we could probably go on for like another, 3 hours on all things spirituality and topics, but
yeah, I agree. There's so much more that we could have said. Yeah. We'll definitely do an episode down the road. I think when it comes to spirituality or spiritual health, I mean, there's just a never ending list of things that we can talk about. And I think it's fun to include in there, like, your own experiences. I think that really helps people grasp these concepts that we're talking about a little more. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing this download to do a mini series with me. I think with it being the first mini series in the podcast, there can definitely be more down the road, but it's good that it got to be on this topic, I feel, especially with where I'm at in my life right now. So, and I think my listeners probably will greatly benefit from these topics as well. So just thank you for taking the time, Hilary. And we just really appreciate your knowledge and your insight and being willing to share that with listeners. So until next time, you guys, I look forward to having some really amazing and powerful collabs planned for later this fall and into the winter. I just made some really amazing connections with some of the gals I met at the Powerhouse Women Conference, and a lot of them have agreed to come on the podcast. So I'm really excited to introduce you to some more powerful women in my life that I have been grateful enough to meet. So tune in for future collabs. There's going to be some good ones coming down the road. So thank you guys for listening. And until next time, have a good week. Thank you so much for listening to us. It means so much to me. If there were any aha moments or anything that really resonated with you on today's episode, then please take a minute and share it on your social media and tag me so I can personally thank you. Also, if you could, please rate and review the podcast, as it is new and that really helps to get the word out there more and reach even more listeners. I'll catch you on the next episode.